You know where Temecula is?
Temecula.
Well, San Diego, basically. Northeast San Diego.
No, that doesn't sound.
Yeah, well, if you don't know the area, I wouldn't necessarily bust your balls for it,
Yeah,
but
no, no, yeah. I think you said it the other day, and I keep thinking of Tulsa. 'Cause I've been there a few times.
right. No, so anyway, I'm going to spend half my week out there and then only do my regular thing 3 or 4 days
Well,
a
I'm gonna
week here.
ask, how far of a drive is that? I
It's
haven't
like,
had a chance to get
well,
back
with a
there.
regular car, it's like 2.5 hours.
That's
So,
not terrible.
no, it's not terrible in a regular car. It's terrible on a Suzuki Samurai when it might cost 4 hours just because that
Oh
thing's so
yeah,
rickety. And last thing I'd want is for that thing to break down with me halfway down. So,
yeah. You'd sure break down on that thing. That's a damn shame.
well, that car is all tired. What it really needs is it needs a steering box because there's all sorts of slop in the steering, and then the suspension is fairly tired, and there's some other things. Actually, the engine is probably only half as powerful as it was when it was new. So the compression's probably half what it originally was.
Yeah, that's the thing about them older, especially about fucking old tracker. They're all Suzuki engines, is what they are. And
Right.
they're pretty peppy when they're new, but they just poor quality parts, man. Them rings they wear down, you lose compression, and
Well, I'm not trying to call it poor quality parts. I mean, that engine, it's due for a rebuild, and it's lasted almost 400,000 miles.
yeah, I'd say it serves you well, even if it blew up today.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It'd be like 2 to 3 grand to replace it. So, with like a tracker upgrade,
You ever heard of a program called 7-Zip?
a computer program called Seven what?
7-Zip.
No. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. What about it?
Oh,
What do you need it for?
using it. I'm using it to extract some files for some video games that I may or may not have illegally downloaded.
Well, Windows 10 has an ability to unzip without adding extra software.
Well, it said that it required 7-Zip, so I'm gonna head down.
Oh, you mean it was so it was a special zip file that was created using that program. So
Yeah.
it's basically a sales tactic. So you're inclined to at least download the trial, if not pay for it.
Well, here's the thing: is I got these files right here, but how the fuck do I get them over to 7-Zip?
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay,
I've got extract to a specific.
okay. So you got a file you can't do anything with when you double click on it, right?
Yeah, I can, but it wants to use WinZip. I don't want it to use
So if you
WinZip.
right click and go open with 7-zip,
Click.
hold the shift key or the alt key. That allows you to get an option.
All right. Well, it gives me select all, copy files to clipboard, copy full name to clipboard, add files to archive, extract to a specified folder, extract without confirmation, create a new folder, view as, and sort by.
Well, if you right click on the file and go open file, let me see an example here. Open with
Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here?
open file location. Oh, actually, if you go to properties,
Right now.
you should be able to choose what program it defaults to. Because if it's defaulting to WinZip, then yeah, that gets complicated or confusing.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here looking in the files, and it has particular 7-Zip files.
Right.
So, well, it says it's doing something. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's downloading something. But yeah, like I said, it's been a hell of a weekend over here on my end too. I ended up getting my drift car in. I actually picked up a full-time job this past week.
Lovely.
This is my second week. Yeah, right. So unfortunately, I missed my live stream and everything last night.
All right.
But yeah, it's my second week, and I'm working 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
But I'm also still looking for something part time Friday night and Saturday and Sunday. So I'll probably go work at like a steakhouse. on the
Yes,
weekend.
I'm trying to figure out what I can do. So I'm only going to be here in LA for like 3 days of the week, just because I don't have a whole lot of work. I'll be able to console it all for the first half of the week, and then
Are you doing
I'll
weekdays or weekends?
well, it'll be the first half of the week. So I'll do like Monday through Thursday here in LA, and then I'll spend my like 3 day weekends in Anza, and I'll figure out what I want to do with my time there.
You were breaking up a little bit there at the end.
I only want to spend Monday through Thursday here in LA. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, that'll keep me. My godmother wants me to help her do some fixing up on her property, and I'll be able to take advantage of that too. So I'm gonna get the motorhome out there, which means I gotta spend the first few weekends out there just prepping a parking space because it's all dirt. I'm gonna put down a bunch of gravel so I don't sink into the ground, and then we'll go from there.
So you plan to drive it out there?
Yeah, that's why I'm scared. It's like, oh shit, I do not want this tank to drive. I've
Is that
never.
going to be the farthest trip you've ever made in it?
It'll be the only time I've been on the highway.
Oh, no shit. You're taking her out on the highway.
Yeah, but it's got brand new brakes and brand new tires, so even if I blow up, I'm safe.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing you'd be out is a tow.
Right. No, I have a AAA tow, so I'd be covered for up to 200 miles. So that's really the only anxiety is if it actually breaks down while I'm doing 55 miles an hour in the slow lane, trying to get there patiently.
You think it's going to run 55?
Well, that's the fastest I think I'd feel safe driving a vintage vehicle like that.
Yeah, well, I'd say it'd run at least 55.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it'd be that fast.
Well, my point is, I wouldn't want to go faster just for the sake of safety.
Right. Well, I was just thinking of just being able to keep up with the traffic, so to speak.
Well, yeah, stay in the slow lane. That'll be the troublesome. I'd have to stay not necessarily in the slow lane, but the slow lane, so I don't end up getting forced off into every exit. That's the biggest issue by driving the slow lane. You always have to make sure you don't get pushed off into the exit.
Pushed out, yep.
Yeah.
And everybody wanting to be an asshole in a hurry around you.
Right. So I don't know how long it might take if I tried to do surface streets, but I don't really want to drive a giant vehicle like that on surface streets either.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm sitting here up and down. I'm having a hell of a time installing this game. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or.
Well, what's happening?
It's just I extracted it, but it didn't go anywhere.
So what game is it?
Grand Theft Auto.
Really? Okay. So where did you get the game?
Shit. Abandonware.com, which is old games.
Yeah. See, it's hard to vet the source of some unknown source. I don't know about the quality. That's what I'd be worried about.
As far as I know, it's a reputable website.
All right. Well, that's
where I get the majority of my games. That they're older titles that no longer either the companies have since been bought out.
Why don't you check to see if the shortcut got installed? Go to the start buttons and see if you see it.
Yeah, because usually it would go to the there's 7-zip file manager.
Right.
Nope, and it goes no, nothing about Grand Theft Auto. It said it installed something when I extracted it. It did get online for a second.
Right.
Hell, I don't. Because here I open up my web browser, go over to my downloads. Alright. Open link in a new tab, open link in a new window, open link incognito window, save link as, copy link. But if I click on it, it just takes me straight to WinZip.
Yeah, okay, so the file you downloaded, is it just one file or is it more than one?
It's 2 files with like 1 million files in them files.
Okay, so it is a zip file. Okay, so, do this. Extract all of them to a regular folder.
Okay.
Put the regular folder on the desktop and let's grab them all and put them all in the desktop folder.
All right. Oh, you dick. You're not going to let me. I tell you right now, this laptop is, I wouldn't say it's underperforming, but I'm definitely ready for a serious upgrade.
Well, yeah, that's right. So now that you have an understanding of the fundamentals, you realize what your limitations are.
I mean, it does great, just regular when you're trying to do all this shit. And like I
Right.
said, it's not even really that it's slow. It's just, it's like real touchy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, my i5 that was an i5 is now an i7 running at 3.2 gigahertz. So it does pretty much everything I could at the entry level. So it's not hesitating for most of everything I've done now. So I've upgraded. Technically, the first upgrade I did was an i7, but it was actually slower. My original i5 with only 2 cores was like 3 point something gigs. I forgot how fast it was. But I accidentally upgraded to an i7, which was technically 4 cores, but it was a downgrade in CPU speed. So I was only I think 2000 gigahertz. So this i7 now I have is a 3.4. So now it's a significant upgrade from the original i5.
Yeah, and with this being just an i3, like for example, I mean, like I said, it does pretty good. Like, it does aggravating shit. For example, what I was just bitching about
Right.
was
I
I was
don't.
just trying to do something as simple as just stretch my window and make it just a little bit smaller. That way it wasn't overkill, so I could pretty much transfer the file directly to a desktop.
Right.
And it had to be in like the most perfect, sweet fucking spot just to get that cursor to work right.
Right. Yeah. No.
Just stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. It's on the desktop now. When I open it up, it's game files, readme. There's the readme because it said I needed to read the readme. This file was downloaded from oldgamesdownload.com. We work very hard to provide you with these downloads. If you'd be kind enough to share our website, but that's not the readme I need. So, setup. Because there's the DLL file. So, no, this is real McCoy.
Right.
Oh, that's why. This isn't Grand Theft Auto. This is Driver 3.
Okay. Well, the function might not necessarily be the same. It may or may not. I'm not much of an older gamer, so I don't know.
Press any key to continue. Well, usually the ones that say application is the one that you need.
Okay.
But I need the installer first. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and this is shit I've been doing for a long application extension. I wonder if that's the installer. You are attempting to open. Oh, it launched the game.
Is it running?
It's doing something. Holy shit. It sure is. Driver 3, 2004 Atari.
So what'd you do differently?
I directly, what I did was, instead of using 7-zip at all,
Yeah.
I just did what you told me and took those 2 files
Right.
and just literally clicked on them, backlit them, and dragged them to his desktop screen.
Yeah.
And it automatically extracted it from there. And then I clicked into that one folder, and then I was just looking through the files. I know DLL
Yeah.
or any EXE files are usually like, let's launch the game. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least give you an installer to be able to set it up, and then, then you usually get a shortcut.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this took me directly to the game launcher.
Good. There you go.
So, yeah. Now, I've been doing shit like that for years, so I've got basic understanding of that. I just never knew I'm actually I wouldn't consider myself even an amateur,
Right.
but I'm actually pretty decent at small graphic designs and shit like that. I mean, I couldn't do anything elaborate, but
Well, you're
usually
probably
like
more
real basic
artistic
layout.
ability. Your artistic ability sounds like it's more than mine anyway.
Well, a lot of things is out there is just the tools that they make are. I mean, I know how to do like little generic shit, but I couldn't do any. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to and learn, I probably could. But you know how they got these crazy animations and intro graphics and all. I can't do none of that
Yeah.
shit.
Well,
Now, if I had a machine capable of it, I wouldn't mind to learn, which is why I'd like to upgrade because I probably would try to learn some more shit like that. Yeah, this is actually working though. That's cool. Driver 3, press enter to begin. Well, but yeah, I'm hoping that old turd makes it down the road for you. I mean, I'd trade you. I'll trade you that 3 hour drive for halfway across the country.
yeah, right. Well, if I knew I was in a reliable car, I don't mind driving. It's just intimidating. You got that anxiety of not knowing if it's about to break down. That's really the only issue. You know what I mean?
I'd say it. I'd say it should. I mean, with everything that you got, you know, you got the new brakes, you got new tires on it. Like you said, worst case, ooh, damn, it's loud. Worst case scenario is, you know, the motor finally gives or the transmission grenades, which I hope it don't happen.
Right. No, God.
I know
Yeah.
I'm having a hell of a time with mine. My driver, they got a brand new Ford F-150 and
Right.
they're having troubles with it, so they had to go get it serviced.
Right.
And the way he's talking, he should be ready to have it by next week. But
Well, what's it cost
trying to
to have
figure out
the?
this wire.
What's it cost
What's
to have
that?
that transmission rebuilt?
Who?
Mine, or yours?
Oh, my transmission's not rebuilt that I know of.
No. What would it cost to have that done?
What, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I wouldn't know. There's nothing really wrong with my transmission.
Yeah, but my point is, I'm just curious what it would cost if it did grenade.
Oh shit. Probably $3,500. Probably
Right. So
easier to
almost
do
an
it.
engine rebuild then. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, you gotta think. Actually, with it being a transmission job, yeah, it'd probably still be cheap just because it's droppable from underneath of it. Literally, like you could drop it. Don't even have to jack it up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I said if my trans were to go out, I wouldn't have to rebuild. I would just go straight to the junkyard,
Yeah.
probably grab one that's already out of something, and then literally, no bullshit, it would probably be a 30-minute job.
Really.
Because I tell you what, what would take me 30 minutes and $400 at the junkyard, they would rape me. They would completely bend me over with no lube and give me the longest shaft possible and still charge me $3,500 for something that they would do in 30 minutes.
Really.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Now, here's the other part. The engine, though, we're both kind of in the same boat on that.
Right.
An engine job for that thing would require jacking it up. And you would think it'd be easy. Like,
Well, no,
okay,
I mean,
jack.
you have to remove the axle. That by itself is a little bit of time.
Well, not just that. Well, in theory, I mean, once it's in the air, the
Yeah.
job itself does not take that long. I
Right,
mean,
because if
honestly,
you have the
think-
if you have the resources to get it up in the air, that's how a lot of the job, I'm sure.
oh yeah, that's literally probably half the job. Like from start to finish, once it's already in the air,
Right.
you could probably have the engine and the transmission out in probably an hour and a half, if that.
Got
And
it.
I'm not talking about working your ass off. I'm talking like, here's a couple bolts, smoke a cigarette. Here's a few more bolts. Let's go grab a beer. You know what I mean? Leisure
Right.
type shit.
Yeah.
But the thing is now go look at your RV.
Right.
Now, in theory, you're like, well, I can do this right here. Well, you go jacking it up, and you'll quickly realize that you're going to run out of clearance. Maybe not with your jack. Your jack might be able to get the motherfucker to the moon.
Right.
Walk to the ass of the RV. Now your
Right.
back bumper's sitting on the ground, and you can't go up any higher, and that's the problem that we run into.
Yeah.
So you can only jack the front up so high before you can bottom out on the rear. The only way to fight that is is to either A, jack it up on all four corners,
Yeah.
or B, park the rear axle on something as high as you can get it, like a curb or something, like preferably a tall curb.
Right.
Then you might be able to get away with a job like that.
Right.
But you go jacking it up on four corners with some regular automotive jack stands or something less ideal for support. You're looking at, do you really feel safe crawling under there?
No. 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 No.
So, so from a
Right.
mechanics, so from a mechanics output or what have you, because most don't have a semi, or a semi jack, which is what you would need for what we have. So the average mechanic that's like, okay, yeah, I'll do the engine job, and he might agree to it. He's probably going to give you an astronomical price
Right.
just because of what all kind of bullshit he's going to have to go through just to do the job.
Yeah.
Not to mention what bullshit he's going to find when he gets in there.
Right.
Like, for example, your mechanic and the nightmare that he had. But
Right. Yeah. I can't. We can't really blame him for the.
and here's the thing that kills me about that is right out the gate. If I was a full-on shop, licensed everything,
Yeah.
I've got the power, so to speak. My first recommendation before I said, "Hey, it's going to cost you $10,000, and we're going to throw some parts on it," I
Right.
would have been like, "No, it's going to cost you $10,000, and you're going to get a brand new fucking motor and transmission."
Right.
So that's where I would have went with.
Yeah.
I would have broke it down. I would have been like, all right, here we're not going to fool with this shit here. We're going to go grab this.
Right.
We're going to make it with this, and we're going to run our own wiring. We're going to start from scratch. And that's exactly.
Well, no, I think you're a step above. I think.
Amount of money.
Yeah, I think you're a little smarter than the average mechanic. I mean, ultimately, most mechanics are known to be not the brightest collection of individuals, and I mean, you're definitely a step above.
Well, a lot of them are just book standards.
Yeah, and I think that's really the term I'm trying to find. Those mechanics, they're maybe ethically correct and competent, but they're not thinking beyond the book.
See, and that's where he fucked up, in my opinion, because what he would have got the same amount of money, and probably, arguably, it would have been more work up front, but in the end, instead of doing little petty ass bullshit and having
Right.
to go back and fuck with this, and go back and fuck with that,
Right.
it would have just been so much easier from literally day one. Let's R&R,
Right.
remove and replace.
Yep, and unfortunately, I've had to learn that lesson the hard way as an
So
observer.
what he was thinking is, in my mind, he was like, okay, well, I'm just going to charge him this. That way he's got to come back, because eventually the fucking motor's going to give. And then he's going to charge you that all over again to do it. And that's exactly, I know that's where his mindset had to be.
Really? Yeah. Well,
But
that just turns me off. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if I can just get a 454 upgrade or a LS upgrade for $10,000, geez.
Yeah. Well, you're looking, if you were to go with I think a 5.3 would be more than enough for that, just because I know you don't go on a whole lot of highway
Right.
cruises. I know it's more of a leisure mobile.
Well, I've thought maybe either if I do LS or a 454, maybe a diesel. I don't know. Maybe a diesel makes sense. I know it's a.
No, I wouldn't do a diesel. That would only complicate things, make it twice as expensive, and I don't
Right.
think they're any more reliable than what an LS off would be.
All right.
Nor are off-the-shelf parts as common for one.
Right.
Because you got to think, if you break down somewhere, if you need something serviced, you go to any AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto. You
Right.
get that part directly off the shelf. You get into a diesel motor or something like that,
Yeah.
you'll be looking hard to find parts, especially the older ones.
Right.
That you take guys like me. I mean, I couldn't tell you anything about a diesel. I mean, to be honest, I know how they work, but I couldn't tell you any parts of. I couldn't.
Right.
I know the injection pump pumps fuel directly into the cylinder and ignites, and that's how it makes it power. But I couldn't tell you how it does it, what phase, and how it happens, or nothing.
Well, I just know that they have the reputation for being more reliable long term.
Yeah, they're more robust. They're more for industrial long-term use. Yeah, I'll give them that. But
I mean, even if I had less power, because I also know that they're known for having less output. So.
yeah, I'm seeing that's where I would. That's where I would run into. You quite literally, might put a motor in it that doesn't even have enough power to move it.
Right. Well.
or might have enough power to move it, but not enough power to really go anywhere. You'd be lucky to get like 30, maybe 30 miles per hour.
Well, practically speaking, you need to be able to do highway speeds. Yeah, if you can't do at least 55, you got a problem.
I mean, realistically, you go to any boneyard here, literally, you go to any junkyard here in America, I don't care where you're at right now.
Right,
You can go pick up a 5.3 long block. I'm talking with the accessories, everything, literally
right.
straight package. You're gonna
Yeah,
pick it up for anywhere between $750 to $1,000.
yeah,
Could you put it in your RV as it is?
right.
Absolutely. I mean, for an LS lot could be as cheap as you want to get. Would
Yeah,
I recommend it doing that? No, I would tear it down to the block, have it honed out, re-ring it, reuse the pistons, crank, all that shit. Just have it re-ringed and all that shit.
right.
So you're gonna pay, let's say, $1,000 for
Yeah,
the motor and all these accessories.
right.
Now at that time, go ahead and strip it down to
Yeah,
bare nothing, and it's going to cost you, we'll say, another $1,000 for a rebuild. We're going to throw a nice cam in there and get the heads ported too while we're at it.
all right.
That's in the budget. So you got a $2,000 brand new motor that makes about 500 horsepower,
Right.
guaranteed to last. LS is,
I'll have to
it's
replace the
not.
transmission though too, right?
Well, yeah, we haven't made it that far yet.
Yeah.
You're gonna now you got your $2,000 motor,
Uh-huh.
and it's hopped up all the hill, and it's not only is it reliable, but it's good on gas too. So
All right.
you're gonna get 500 horsepower on pump gas.
Yeah.
So you can still run 87 octane, and you're still gonna get around 14, 15 miles to the gallon, even in that RV.
Right.
So not only do we got a motor and a motorhome that is more than capable to keep up with everyday traffic. I'm talking you can run 70, 80, and go fast lane all you want,
Right.
and keep up with people. Like they're not waiting on you to speed up. The cars next to you are looking at you fucked up because you're outspeeding them.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, so we got $2,000 in a motor. Now transmission, you're gonna go pick up a 4L80E. You're gonna pay about $400 for the core, and you're gonna spend about $1,500 and I wouldn't say rebuilt, but having it upgraded. Definitely, if you want to spend a 3,500 plus and have it rebuilt, go for it. But
Right.
all you gotta do is spend 400 for the core, get a nice torque converter, get a nice torque converter for it, get a shift kit,
Right.
and maybe a sun shell upgrade. Call it a day. So you're looking at about $2,000 in a transmission. So
All right.
$4,000 right there just got you a brand new hopped up drivetrain.
Basically half what I've got into it. Right.
Exactly, just right there, right now. I say if he was completely fucking all right, let's take this guy for what he's got because he already charged you $3,000 on the breakup grade.
Right.
Let's say he charged you $3,000 for labor for pulling it all out and putting it back in. Even then, yeah, I still feel like that's pricey, but worth it if he offers a warranty and what have you.
Right.
But that would have been money well more spent.
Right.
But instead, in his mind, he was thinking, well, I'm just going to Band-Aid. No, I don't think Band-Aid was really in his. I don't know, maybe. Mainly, I think he was thinking, well, I'm going to fix this for this guy because I know this motor is at the end of its life cycle. And here soon, I'm going to get it back, and they're going to do the same job, except in another motor, and they're going to make this money again. Was where he was at with that. Versus he should have did it one and done that first time, and then and his mindset should have been, well, I just completely redid his motorhome. I know I'm not going to see it for a while because hell, I just did the brakes and I just gave him a brand new drivetrain, so he's not going to need any work done to this. But I know I'm going to get every vehicle he needs after this done. Should have been his mindset.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I like your logic. Your logic makes more sense because now he's probably mulling over the fact that he had that conversation with you and realizing, and now there's other places that would have been smarter to put that money, even if it's a used engine.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean,
yeah, because originally,
yes and no. I mean, pretty much my 454 that I have, I plan to hop it up pretty much the same as you just did to yours.
right,
But I know how to do it myself, so
right.
it's only going to cost me maybe $1,000 completely to hop mine.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just sitting here thinking, like in my head, I can't fathom that. Like $10,000, fuck, dude, you just gave me my dream bill. And then
Right.
you're over there like, damn, dude, I'm barely running.
Yeah. No. 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 I think when I dropped it off, I expected a $3,000 brake bill, but then I didn't expect to have initial running issues. That's why I got frustrated. It's like, wait a minute, how did a $3,000 bill turn into 10 or 9?
Right. Yeah, see, that's I can't fathom. I mean, fuck, man. You know how many race cars I could build with 10 grand? Probably
Right. Well,
at
you
least
know,
two and start on another.
$600 for a carburetor rebuild. I know that was part of the bill.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't looked at that bill in a minute, but yeah, some of the shit was just
Is that? I mean, is that a little high for a carburetor rebuild?
$600 for a carb rebuild. I mean, I can't remember. I think he did put parts and labor with that
Yeah,
too.
I understand it's a few hours of effort. It takes a real skill
No,
to.
I'd say no more than 2 hours to rebuild one for a competent
Okay,
mechanic.
well that would be 300, and then how many for seal? How much for seals?
I'd say a carb rebuild kit probably around, I don't know, at least $200 for a decent
Okay.
quality
Well,
one.
okay. So then you're talking about 300 for $500. Five is
Yeah,
yeah. All
somewhere
right.
in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if it's $200 to do all the seals in the jets for a carburetor plus 2 hours of labor, and I think they bill 150 bucks an hour. That I mean that works out anyway.
Well, see, and then, well, yes and no, because, yeah, shop labor. See, they're just thinking, well, RVs, anything recreational. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
If it's not an automobile and if it has a motor, it has to be worked on. The thing about cars and trucks are, and like service vehicles, and the departments that service them. Like, for example, if you brought in your Toyota Corolla
Right.
and you wanted a X job, it doesn't matter what the fuck job it is.
Right.
There's a book that they go to that they look up the car, they look up the job or the service that needs to be performed, and they look at the value of the job. If the book calls for, hey, this is a 3 to 5 hour job,
Right.
usually they'll usually they'll almost always put it at the high end. Even
Yeah.
if it only takes them, even if it only takes them an hour and a half to do it, they're still going to charge you for 5 hours. This.
Right.
Well, the thing about like older shit that's discontinued, that there's no information for, like things like recreational view, like RV shit like that. So
Yeah.
you take this RV, it needs a carb rebuild. There's nothing to go off by. So unfortunately, there's like no max for these guys. So it's
Right.
like, well, the shop rate is this, and it's going to take however long it's going to take us to do it, and that's how they
Right.
bill you by
Yeah.
it. So that's just kind of how that goes.
Right.
So you get, like I said, you get the shaft when it comes. I learned that real quick being an RV owner. I said, so, oh, this is what it's like.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be one of those guys. Like, if I want the RV life, I'm literally gonna have to be the. I'm literally gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. Thank God, I'm already a halfway decent mechanic. But I couldn't tell you anything about like home plumbing, electrical, none of that shit. But now
Right.
that I'm an RV owner, I know I'm gonna have to be a jack of all trades, because when something breaks, I'm gonna be the one to fix it, or it's not gonna get fixed, because either A, I can't find anybody to fix it,
Yeah.
or B, the people that I can find to fix it are going to charge me what it costs to go buy a brand new one for something for one small repair.
Right.
So if I had the choice between fixing something every time or just going and buying a new fucking RV every time, so I would almost be ahead just buying a new RV every time.
Right.
So it's just kind of something I learned real quick.
Right.
That's why I'm glad I got these manuals, and over these next couple of years of these next couple of years of ownership and shit, I, it'll get to the point to where I won't even have to refer to the manual anymore. I'll automatically remember it down to like the wire codes down type
Right.
shit. But unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to spend that kind of time with it.
Right.
I spent that 1 week in it, back in October, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now, you let me get it here, get it on my land, let me go camping in it and doing some renovating and what have you over the course of the year. It's going to come to a point where I'm not even going to need these manuals anymore.
Well, I got a friend who's going to come over maybe tomorrow and get my timing right with the new hardware, and hopefully that'll get me to the land about 2.5 hours away, which will probably be closer to 3.5 hours.
Right.
And I'll see about taking street. I have to do a little bit of research and see about what route I want to take. Obviously, I'm not excited to take that thing on the highway.
Yeah, if you can plan around it, I would.
Yeah, I mean,
I know my thing is, I totally want to redo all my wiring down to completely redo
yeah,
it, just because I know everything's corroded and shit, especially the DC side.
right,
So I'd like to redo that, and I would like to upgrade to a 50 amp service with a complete solar upgrade. My thing
yeah,
is my interior is just so nice. I don't have it in me to gut it.
right.
So there's got to be a way that shit should be able to come out bolt for bolt and go back in there for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, you'll be able to take a lot of it. You'd be able to just unbolt a lot of it.
Like the closets and everything.
Oh yeah,
Bolt.
yeah, and I mean, you should be able to be gentle about pulling it out. I mean, it is basically screwed in.
I'm not worried about the wood and shit getting scratched up just because I totally plan to sand everything down, fill it in, and stain it and restain it anyway.
Well, if you
But I
damage
at
something,
least need to retain the structures, you know.
well, yeah, if you do break or damage something, you can always cut a duplicate. It is wood, so you can make a duplicate replacement.
Well, I'm said I'm just trying to keep it as original as possible.
Yeah,
Especially like my closets and stuff. I want to keep all my lights and everything. So when I open up my doors, my lights come on the inside. I want to keep all that.
oh yeah, yeah. No, no. I mean, my outside. The cool thing about having one that looks kind of its age is you'll be able to not necessarily show off that there's anything of value inside.
Yeah.
I mean, if you kind of look like a crack house on the outside, they're going to kind of assume you got a crack house on the inside.
On the inside, yeah. Or it's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah, no. I when I first bought mine, the AAA guy who towed it, he said, "No, no, I tow these Apollos all the time. They look like shit on the outside, but then they're all tricked out on the inside with 2 or 3 flat screen TVs and all that fun stuff."
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I already got a solar panel up there, but I'm thinking I know solar panels are usually about 300 to 400 watts per panel. Dude, I could probably fit 5 or 6 fucking panels up there, dude. Have
right,
about 500 or 600 watts of solar, and that would be enough to play some video games or something through the night, run the furnace and what have you. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah,
I mean, you're not gonna play video games, make popcorn, and get on the computer and fucking listen to music at the same time. But I mean,
right,
you could occupy your time. You can, definitely have the TV and the game system running because that doesn't take much.
right,
Maybe have a couple of LED lights on, in the front room too, for lighting or what have you. Because that doesn't take much.
right.
But yeah, I think just that one solar system I was looking at with the inverter, everything built in, I think it was only like $2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need to spend much.
Let's see,
Especially
like
if
I
you
was
just
telling you.
need your lights lit. I mean, if you're not really powering anything other than a few LEDs, you're fine.
Well, if you remember my post back from a few months back, I had planned to go all Alexa.
Right,
Well, since I've gotten here, me and you got to tinker with computers and shit, we got to talking about that master computer in the back and how
right. But what are you going to do about Wi-Fi?
well,
Alexa needs an internet connection. Where are you going to get your internet? Are you just going to be close enough to your house?
oh yeah.
All
Well, I
right.
think the RV would be sitting on my own property.
Yeah, all right. As long as you're clear near Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought about getting either I got Wi-Fi on my phone, but I thought about
I'd
getting
imagine in
satellite.
the coming years when we all get our hotspots, the hotspots will eventually open up and we'll be able to use those as primary internet connections.
Oh yeah,
Right now, I pay an extra $15 for my T-Mobile hotspot. That's 40,
yeah.
40 gigs. So as long as I'm not doing Netflix or Amazon, or Netflix, Amazon, or YouTube, I won't burn through it. If for basic surfing, 40 gigs is fine. But as soon as I start doing any sort of streaming, it gets gobbled up real quick.
Oh yeah, how long does 40 gigs last you?
Well, I didn't actually time it, but it doesn't take much to become a sizable dent in that 40 gigs.
I thought about looking into satellite internet once I get
That's
this.
a possibility. Yeah, I don't know. I hear that the upload is a little slow, and then reliability is also questionable. Like clouds potentially could affect the reliability.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anyone personal, but I mean, if I'm going to be living in my motorhome on land, out in the open, then uh, that might be a viable option, but I don't know how reliable it'll be. You know, I ultimately don't expect to spend too much money inside, but if I know I just want to be able to watch an occasional Netflix or YouTube for an evening, then I don't know if satellite's going to be the practical way to go.
Yeah, see, and that's what kills it with that. But I think that's going to be about my only option where I'm going, at least for now. Other than that, the hotspot on my phone. But I
Right.
done decided when I do. I haven't decided what to do first because I'm conflicted. Because I know I want. I I don't think the wiring in my. It's not that I think that my wiring is bad or nothing, but I just know it needs an upgrade. And while we was running on that 30 amp service, it ran fine. And the
Right.
thing is, I wasn't even using all 30 amps. I was only on a 15 amp fucking plug. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I
Yeah.
was running all kinds of shit. I'm talking about all my lights, microwave, a heater, and AC unit going at the same time.
Right.
So I know it'll hold it, but I just don't know where to upgrade first. I know I do my computer install in the back, and as soon as I do that, I'm gonna want to rip other shit out.
Well, I would consider running the wiring like an HDMI and an Ethernet. Those are the only two real long wire runs you'll think about. So if you
Yeah,
wanted to, you could poke a hole in the wall that goes to the closet, and then I don't know if how much space you might have over the ceiling or in the ceiling because it's a sandwich deal. You might be able to shove it in the ceiling area. I don't, but you have cross members that might block you. So I don't know what kind of
see, I
options you
don't.
have.
How do I get those ceiling panels down? Do they come down easily?
The ceiling, which ceiling panels?
The exterior ones, the white panels.
The extra. What do you mean exterior panels? Where?
Just the the top of the ceiling is just one piece.
Oh, if you really wanted to take that, that's a big project, but it's doable. It's actually technically not hard. It's just time consuming because it's like you got all those screws around the perimeter. It's all of those, and then you would have to remove your air conditionings, both of them.
No, no, I'm talking about on the inside.
Oh, on the inside, yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to remove that without damaging anything. You can remove the vent covers, and that'll give you a little bit of access. But I could tell you from
Yeah, and that's
experience,
how I knew, well, see, and that's what gave me the idea because when I took down my vent covers and painted them,
yeah.
I
Oh,
noticed that that's literally all one piece. You can literally pull that ceiling
okay.
panel
Well,
down.
then what you can do is poke a hole in that wood because there's wood framing around each of those vents, and then you could poke the wiring through there.
Yeah, because I think what I'm gonna do is like we discussed, my
But yeah, I could tell you with the construction, you're going to have horizontal cross members that go every like 18 inches.
18 inches.
Something, I don't know what the actual number of inches is, but I just know how it's constructed. If you look at the brochure of those motorhomes, you see the framework. It's basically all reconstructed piping.
Fiberglass.
Yeah, the piping starts every 12 to 18 inches or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely wanna.
And then you got the wood cross members too. So you might be able to drill through some of the wood, but you're going to get hit. You're going to hit by some of that framework.
Yeah, I'll have to have a stud finder and find that marking exactly where each cross member
Well,
is.
because I've had water damage, I can see where the cross members are because there's been fading. Well, I don't know if it's deterioration, but the plastic has actually changed color where some of the rust has shown up. I don't know how else to describe
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was saying. Your whole ceiling is just one solid piece of plastic.
Yeah, and then above that you got the wood. You have a few cross members of wood and a bunch of cross members of
Oh yeah,
steel.
you might want to pull your whole top shell off and recondition it.
Yeah, if I had a big warehouse where I could just do that, I wish I could, so I could redo all my wiring. But I don't
Yeah,
have anyone.
I I almost wish I had like exactly what you said, like a
Yeah.
warehouse where I could take that motherfucker apart
Yeah,
literally from the
just take your air
outside.
conditionings off, and then you get like 50 screws on either side, maybe more than that. But you undo all those perimeter screws, and then the whole top just pops off.
That's crazy that the only thing holding it on is that.
Yeah, like 100 screws or so. I don't know how many, literally speaking, but it's like that. And then the air conditioning units are really the only other thing. And then there's a storage bin up there too that would keep it from coming off.
Yeah, because if I had my way, I'd pull the wood paneling off on it. That'd be the only thing that I would replace, that I would redo. I would keep all my cabinetry and all that shit true and original,
Yeah,
but I
no,
would rip out all my all the wood, all the walls pretty much.
yeah. I so
And I
wish
would
I
just
had
put
that resource to
the
be able to park in a warehouse, take my time, just unscrew that whole roof, and then look at what damage was done and what wiring I can redo, and just do it.
yeah, because I would I think I would insulate it with styrofoam. Seems to be the new
Yeah, no,
go-to.
actually, it is already. All motorhomes are there. Well, not necessarily styrofoam, but there is insulation in a motorhome, as minimal as it might be. It is there.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, if you drilled into your wall, you would
I would
find.
take the little step further though. At a at just a small sacrifice for of room, I would actually stud in a wall on
Right,
both sides and in the back, and I would have probably about a good inch on both sides of a studded wall,
right,
and then I would insulate that as well.
right,
And then I would probably use like a real thin Luan board or whatever you want, a paneling board or what have you.
right,
So not only the studded wall would that add rigidity and integrity to the whole motorhome. So in theory, it'd be a lot more rigid than what it was to begin with,
right.
but it'd also be a lot more insulated too.
Yeah, well, you can insulate it. I don't know how much insulation is already in there, but I know in general most motorhomes have insulation. It's not just a plywood wall.
Yeah, like mine. And the thing is, the walls ain't even that bad. The worst of the walls that have it is where you can tell that the window seals have been gone for
Oh
a long
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. My
You can
seals are
see the
all
water marks running down.
yeah, my seals are all atrophied. They're all shrunk.
Yeah, I got the same problem. So, I mean, really, you could probably sand all that shit away and restain it, make it look halfway decent. But I think it will always kind of look worn. You know what I mean?
Well, you can do the reseals. The walls I'm not too worried about, but the ceiling would be a great fantasy to be able to replace.
See, I think I looked out there. I think I got a good ceiling still. Now I need to work on getting those seals replaced. Right? Have any? I actually found the original ad to my Apollo. It's actually still
Yeah,
online.
I got a bunch of those. Who's in it? Do you recognize which one it is?
What?
Which brochure you just said you had?
No, it's from mine, from whoever the kid that I bought my Apollo from, and
Yeah, I know. You just
whoever
said you
he
just
bought it
said a
from.
brochure. Do you have ad work in the brochure? Do you have like actors pictures of people?
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
no,
So it's not the brochure. It's like
no. It's the
the
online listing to
all
where you
right.
can
Oh
click
yeah,
on the
yeah,
RV
yeah.
stuff.
No, no, no. Because I have the brochures. I actually know most of those people in those brochures. It's kind of funny.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So my dad was used in a few of those shots. The president was in a few of those shots. His wife was in a few of those shots. A few of the sales directors were in a few of those shots. So it was a really wholesome family home and operated operation. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they definitely build a quality product. You don't get that in a mass produced or a company that mass produces
yeah.
it.
They were a smaller company too. So they only lasted a good 15 years. Made maybe no more than 10,000 units.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they made a shitload of money doing it though.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, so my unit sold for about 30 grand. I don't know what the material costs on that would have been, but part of my dad's job would have been to figure out what it cost to build one. So he doesn't remember exactly, but I have asked him about details. And he said basically part of what he needed to do was figure out what it cost to build one.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was a $15,000 to $20,000 parts cost versus a $30,000 they sold it for retail, but yeah, that's part of what he had to figure out.
I know I'm ready to get mine here. I'm just.
Yeah, I just want to get that thing running, even if it blows up. I just want to see if I can get that thing driving. So that's why I was frustrated. It's like, dude, I can't just fly you out here and do this for me.
And I get it secured and it's on the land.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, you're going to get yours on your land. Yeah.
Yeah. I plan to get. And I wanna find me a 3300 model, and I think what is the 2600 is the shortest one you can get.
Well, that's 22 from the very earliest. That would be an early 70s model. They had a 22, 23, and a 20. Go ahead.
For the second generation.
They had three basic generations. They had for the first generation, they had a 22, 23, and a 25. Second generation only lasted about 2 years. They had a 25, 23, no wait, a 25, 26, and a 29. And then for the final generation, they had the 35, 36, the 33, no, 30, 33, and the 35. And then they had the two 35s, one of which was a diesel pusher.
Right, so they didn't make the 26 footer?
Yeah, I think they made a 25, 26, and a 20. No, wait, I think it was a 20. Oh, wait, hold on. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 76 was a 26 footer. I'm sorry, yeah. So they had a 25, 26, a 20, 20. What, they always had three sizes. I'm trying to figure out which years they had what. So yes, they had a 20. The 76 was that a 26 footer? So 26, 27, 30, 30 footer. Yeah, okay. So the 26, I guess, is a 20. Yeah. So like one of the families has a 26 footer, which is basically looks like ours, but our rear end is a blunt end instead of a flared end like ours.
Flared end.
Yeah. So yeah, they have a 26. I guess that's a 25, 26. Yeah, I think it was a 25, 26, and a 29 footer. I don't remember. I'll have to look at the sizes. I'm lost. I forgot exactly what years were available and what sizes.
Yeah, I want a 26 footer. That'd be like my That'd be like the road trip machine.
Well, it's not going to save you a whole lot of gas if that's what your efforts are.
No, it's just a lot smaller.
Well, 3 feet. I mean, yours is a 30.
Yeah. 30, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Frankly, if I was into an easier to drive unit, I'd probably get a 25 or a smaller. Or like I think that, yeah, I don't know. Remember hold on, I have the brochures right here. Hold on. I happen to have. Okay, let's see here. We have.
You ever check eBay for any Apollo merchandise?
Yeah, they do on occasion. That's where I got some of these brochures. Okay. This is a fancy brochure here. Okay, I'm looking at a brochure. Okay, this brochure shows a 33 and a 30, which is ours, and the bigger one, which is a 33. That's weird. This brochure I have in my hand only shows two different sizes, so the 33 and the 30.
I really would like a 33.
Yeah, but of course it's going to be a little bit more cumbersome to drive, but yeah, you just said you wanted a smaller one.
I want a 33. I think that'd be like my full-time living quarters.
That would be for me too. I'm gonna eventually, like I'm gonna walk away from this one that I've got, but I'm gonna use and abuse it to live in. But to do any real traveling, I think I'm gonna just give up on it, and I'll get another one that hasn't been so far lost. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at. I don't plan to give up on mine.
I'm not giving up on it. I mean, I'll make it it'll always be my office. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I just don't think I want to put too much efforts into making it a drivable unit.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I would like a 26 footer. That'd be like the RV. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I found another brochure here. Hold on. So the original sizes available were. Okay.
And you know what's crazy is mine actually still. It technically runs and drives. I wonder if somebody on the page would trade me straight up for 3300.
Maybe. The 33s are fewer of them, and of course you're probably not going to do an even trade. Like you might get the bigger size, but you wouldn't necessarily be getting the same condition. That might be a dangerous trade. You might be down trading without wanting to.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, even with your skills, you don't want to trade anchors.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What size is this? The original ones were shorter.
I was thinking more along the lines that it'd be pristine like mine, but have like a blown up motor or something.
Well, if you knew, as long as you know what you're getting into, yeah. I mean, you've got your own skills and some tools.
Like I think I would almost do that. I would almost straight up trade for a 3300.
Yeah, I can't really do that because I don't have a mechanic skill set.
I might actually have to pay today.
Right. So I'm looking for. Oh, I found another. Let's see, what do I got? I keep finding my. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. It's nothing like looking through family photos here. No, this brochure is not showing me what this is. I mean, I see what it is, but it's not showing me their sizes. It just shows me a few pictures.
I've had my laptop listed for sale for about 2 weeks now. It's got 293 clicks. I've had like 3 people inquire about it, but I might have to lower the price a little bit.
Yeah, well, the problem is you're selling an 8-year-old computer. That's only so valuable to so many people.
Right.
Right. Let's see here. I'm not finding it.
I sold that one real quick. I mean, it sold within a day.
Oh, I found the price list. Ah, here. Okay. I just found a price list for the 1979 33 footer. Okay, so what did this thing sell for? The Monster. Okay, guess what it retailed for brand new?
$39,500.
$47,890.
No shit.
Yeah.
And 79.
Yeah. 50 grand. So figure that's about 120 grand now.
I'm actually looking at the conversion right now.
Yeah, all right. So luxury living, it gives you the basic details of what a Class A motorhome includes. Yeah. So that's the base price for the 3300. So probably add 5 or 6 grand for all the trimmings. Whatever that might be.
That is the equivalent to $192,141 today, dude.
Wait, you just did the conversion? 47,000 in 1979 is.
That's almost a $200,000 a year.
There you go.
Yeah, they made a killing in their short little lifespan.
Yeah, it's a shame that the owner of the company drove it into the ground. He wanted to make it big in Hollywood. He managed to make one major movie, and it wasn't really a major movie.
What movie was it?
So basically, I don't know if you remember the movie, the Tucker Story. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, so basically, do you know the Tucker Story?
No.
So the car company that lasted briefly, they only made like 50 of them. If you Google it, the Tucker Story.
The Tucker Story.
Yeah, just Google it now.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, basically, a guy who wanted to make a high-end car, a luxurious car, made a literal total of about 50 of them. And there was a tumultuous experience of doing so. He only succeeded at the 50 or so cars. His business acumen wasn't what it needed to be, and there were other issues that slowed him down or stopped him. But
which was met with a scandal between the big 3 automobiles.
Yeah, so basically he was a tiny little guy. He wanted to make it big, but of course he couldn't really compete with the big 3. But anyway, there was a movie in the 80s called The Tucker Story. That is not the movie I'm talking about. The movie that Apollo made was a movie that was basically a knockoff of the story because they didn't want to pay for the rights to do the actual Tucker Story. So they made this movie called The Betsy that starred Tommy Lee Jones, And it was basically the Tucker story.
Just with their own little spin on it.
Yeah, so they basically didn't use the Tucker story with no real names, no real story, and no real characters, or no real titles.
How fucking generic.
But they actually took the Tucker story and basically made a fabricated version of the movie. But 20 years later, so that movie came out in the mid-70s or so, like 10 or 15 years later, the actual Tucker story was told in Hollywood by a bigger...
Lucasfilms.
Yeah, so one of them. Here, let's see here. Okay, so if you Google the movie The Betsy, that's the movie that Apollo built. And if you look at the storyline, it's essentially the same as the Tucker story. Tommy Lee Jones was their big guy. I don't know that might have been his debut. He wasn't a huge name at that point, but
Tommy Lee Jones. Damn it! It got a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Must have been a terrible movie.
Well, like I said, they basically went cheap, and instead of spending the rights, buying the rights to that movie, the Betsy movie, 1970. Okay, yeah. So the Betsy movie came out. Okay, yeah. So that was in 1978.
It has some big names in there.
Yeah, it had Laurence Olivier, Tommy Lee Jones,
Robert
Kathleen.
Duvall.
Yep.
That's a big one.
Okay, so basically, so now if you Google Tucker movie, first we'll read that first. So first, directed, The Betsy is a 1978 American romantic drama film directed by Daniel Porty, I think that's how you say it, from a screenplay, and I'm looking for the actual synopsis here. Hold on. I want to compare it to the actual movie. Okay, there we are.
Movie art is actually pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Okay. So, actually, the Tucker movie came up when I Googled it. Okay, they were two men bound together by their daring, their vision, and their erotic power of women. Race car driver Angelo Perino rose from an immigrant family to a life of the razor's edge, where fast cars and fast women were here for the taking. Okay, so that's basically the two-sentence synopsis for the Betsy. So if you click on the Tucker film, that's where they actually spend money on the rights to do the Tucker story, and that only came like 10 years later. 1988, so 10 years later. But the story is basically the same. But the Tucker story was the real Tucker story versus the Betsy, which is made by Apollo as the parent company for the Hollywood film production. And if you compare the two movies, they're basically the same. But the second one was better.
A young Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. So if you look at the company that owned Apollo, it was the same company that owned that Hollywood film production company.
Allied Artists.
Allied Artists owned Apollo and that film production company. Yes. So what basically happened is that the company went under because Apollo was pillaged so it could finance this movie.
And it ended up flopping.
Yes. Yes. So they dumped all that money into the movie that went nowhere, and maybe they made a little bit of money, but the company lasted until the mid 80s, maybe early 80s. Their last full production year was probably 84, 85. Even though technically there were 89 model years.
I wonder if you can buy the rights to the name these days.
I don't know. Oh, the rights to what?
The Apollo.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could, except that there is a rental company, I think it's in Australia or New Zealand. They call themselves Apollo Motorhomes, and they're a rental company.
Oh yeah, they got like a little road and things.
Yeah, it's not. It's nothing to do with the original Apollo. It's just a rental company.
I wonder if there would be conflict there.
No, obviously. Well, because there's no conflict if the company no longer exists, especially if they were smart enough to buy those rights. See what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I don't see anybody starting a new RV business anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean,
pretty much dominated anyway.
You have to be genuinely passionate about it and believe you have an offering that's going to be obviously better than everything else. Otherwise, why would you do that? Yeah.
Pretty much, what the fuck could you offer that somebody else isn't already producing in massive quantities right now anyway?
Right.
I mean, you got to think RVs these days, they literally come with all the newer amenities, solar powered and all that bullshit.
Well, Class A by definition does it all. Sure.
I've never even been in it. I don't think I've ever been in a Class A RV other than my Apollo. I think it's the first and the only Class A RV I've ever been in.
Well, you'll be surprised because the newer ones are a lot taller, so they feel a lot bigger. Of course, all the modern ones have pop-outs too.
I wonder if you can add a pop-out.
I don't think it would be worth the engineering.
No.
That's a lot of effort. Yeah, it is an engineering job. You got to make sure everything moves in and out seamlessly. Actually, my dad said they did a couple custom jobs for some handicapped people. They did a custom door and a custom pop-out.
Yeah, if you could, I think just one pop-out in the living room area would do that thing justice.
Right. But I think my dad did a few jobs. He said there were a few of them that were custom done because of some special requests.
I don't know if I would want to do one, though, just because you probably got to redo the seals on those like every few years.
Well, that's right. Like if I was to buy money, no object, assuming I could afford the latest and greatest, I don't think I'd want pop-outs. I'd want a late model unit. If it's just me and maybe one other, I don't need pop-outs. Yeah, that's just more maintenance than it's worth. I mean, money, no object. Resources, no object. I wouldn't want the hassle of it breaking down because if it gets stuck in the outside position, you can't drive it anywhere. You're stuck.
Don't they have the manual cranks, though?
Well, maybe, but if it jams up in a way that it doesn't, then you're stuck.
Oh, yeah, you'd be shit out of luck.
Yeah, you can't safely or legally drive with those pop-outs in the external position. And I've seen people do that, where they do jam up, and these idiots think that, they'll just deal with it, and then they're driving with an extra 2 or 3 feet of width, and geez.
I haven't run into anything that crazy.
No, I've seen it. Well, I've seen YouTube videos. I haven't seen it in person, but I know that there have been people that get stuck, and they get lazy, and they do it anyway.
The lines of the Apollo are so...
Yeah, they're cool looking. Yeah, they're bullish look. They're the original design is that they wanted to make them look bullet like, but obviously Airstream kind of knocked that out of the park. Airstream was the next step up in quality of product. That was an all metal construction.
Right.
So it's not that. Well, have you ever heard of that brand Argosy?
No.
No, basically that's a plastic Airstream. So it went directly head to head against Apollo.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
Google Argosy.
Argosy.
That's an Airstream that's plastic. So that's how they compete. That's how Airstream competed with the lesser market. So Airstream was a higher end product than Apollo because it was fiberglass versus steel or metal anyway. And then Argosy was their less expensive product, so they can offer a less expensive product and still go head to head with all the fiberglass models.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think my year Apollo in particular, I think it has I know what you're talking about. It's like the GMC.
Yeah. So they basically are the same shape as the metal ones, but they're made out of plastic, so they're a more affordable product.
Yeah, I think the styling of my Apollo, I think it's very aggressive.
Well, it's very masculine looking. Anytime you see straight lines, it looks more masculine. A lot of those really expensive ones, like those Prevos with all those fancy color schemes, they're very beautiful paint jobs, but they look feminine. You know what I mean?
Like the newer ones.
Well, anytime you see all those these paisley paint jobs, they look girly.
Oh
But
yeah.
a masculine paint job means you get a lot of straight lines.
Yeah, and especially like the blue stripe on all the white. It just
Yeah, anytime you
brings
see
out the
straight lines, it's more masculine. Anytime you see paisley or all sorts of weird curves and squigglies, those are girly.
more
Yeah, more feminine. Yeah. Straight lines, in my opinion, are just a more masculine look.
Yeah, and then like I said, the blue stripes and shit on them. I'm sitting here looking at mine now. It brings out those straight edges even more,
Right.
makes it more prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck man, I haven't even seen the thing in a couple months. Kind of getting antsy.
Right. Well, when is it? I mean, why is it taking so long to get yours there?
Well, at first they was waiting on me to get the dimensions for it,
Yeah.
because they've only got a 26-foot gooseneck trailer and
Right.
almost 8 feet long.
Oh, they're not going to put it on a lowboy?
On a what?
They're not going to put it on a lowboy?
The only thing they have is a 26-foot like excavator trailer, gooseneck trailer.
Okay. I'm not sure. I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I just know what a lowboy is because that's what I was looking for to have mine towed. Long term.
I couldn't tell you whatever an industrial trailer would look like.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Industrial trailer just seems like a big old trailer. I don't know what it actually looks like.
Yeah, it's a gooseneck style. It goes on like one of the bigger diesel trucks, like a Ford F450.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, the first thing was they was waiting on the dimensions, and I finally got it to them. And they're like, "Well, we're pretty sure it fit."
Right.
The fear is that the Apollo is 30 feet long, but it's a cab over design.
Right.
So I was pretty much telling him, I was like, you can literally park that nose on the front of the trailer if you had to, and you'd be overhanging probably 3 or 4 feet.
Right.
But as far as the wheelbase from front tire to rear tire is, I would say, is no bigger than a UPS truck.
Right.
And then, so they're thinking they can get it on there for sure, but there's definitely going to be overhang.
Right.
And then they were to make sure that that was legal, and they've come to find out that they're allowed up to like 4.5 feet of overhang,
Right.
which it would only be overhanging a little over 3 feet because you think they got a 26-foot trailer.
Right.
So they get away with that there. Well, last week they ended up having some issues with the I think the smart braking controller or something, whatever the fuck it is that they had installed. It wasn't that it was fucked up. It was that Ford already offers that with their tow package,
Right.
and that it was pretty much fighting the aftermarket controller that they had installed,
Right.
where it wasn't allowing them to have any trailer brakes at all.
Got it.
So it was supposed to be done last week. He hit me up at like Friday at 5 o'clock saying they still haven't got parts on it. I haven't even talked to him today. And where my RV is at, it's sitting at my brother-in-law's parents' neighbor's house.
All right.
Okay, so nobody has pretty much outright said that, hey, you need to come get it.
Right.
But everybody's kind of been hinting around that I
Right.
have to like the end of the month to get rid of it.
So but your tow guy, what's his hang up?
As far as I know, they're just waiting to get that smart controller or whatever fucking fixed for their trailer braking system.
Oh jeez. All right. So
He-
technically
and then
yours isn't yours is
I asked him last week outright.
Yeah.
Straight up, because I just wanted to, kind of cut the bullshit.
right.
I was like, man, if there's for any reason that you think that you can't do it,
Right.
I pretty much need to know so I can make other accommodations.
Right.
Oh no, man, I got you for sure.
Right.
We're gonna get you taken care of.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just kind of one of them deals. I know a lot of it is. I'm just starting to ease into panic mode. Here we are, halfway through January, and
Yep.
I've pretty much got an unsaid deadline to the end
Right.
of the month.
Yeah.
And Chris, my brother-in-law, he pretty much flat out told me, he was like, yeah, the dude that where my RV's at, he's the kind of guy that he'll junk and not even give a fuck.
Right.
So, which nobody has told me that, but I haven't talked to his mom for about a week now, and I've been kind of putting off calling her until I have like a for sure they're coming this day to come get me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I know the next time we talk is it's going to be the talk. You know,
Yeah.
like I know it's because the last when I called her last week and I talked to her, literally the first thing out of her mouth was, "I thought you was coming to get this derelict turd," but was joking. You know, obviously.
Right.
But in a way, I think she was kind of being serious too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So inevitably, I believe the next conversation is going to be like, "Hey, you know, he's needing it gone. You know, you're going to have to da 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 da, or I'm going to have like to this day or something like that." Which, like I told my mom, if worst comes to worst, I guess I could always find storage where the fuck it's sitting at and have it remotely towed to storage. I'd hate to have to do that, but
Right.
that might be the alternative for now.
Right.
I don't want to tow it and then store it. I want it towed one time, towed here, stored permanently, and be
Right.
done.
Right. And that way you can take your time fixing it. Right.
Exactly, and it's $1,000 every time you have to have that motherfucker towed.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's more than, well, it depends how far, but yeah, I know. I know the feeling. I'm surprised you don't have a AAA card.
Well, for my case, it's useless because it's halfway across the country. If
Right.
I thought that I could get a free tow right here for right now for whatever it is for their fucking sign me up. Sign me up for
Right.
2 years.
Yeah, well, no, AAA will tow you up to 200 miles once a year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean it'd get it a quarter of the way here, but it
Right.
still doesn't mean you don't get it.
Yeah. No. Yeah, sounds like we both got our similar issues. You just have a little more skill than I.
That's what I was telling you. I was like, it's kind of weird that we're both in the same predicament. You probably sitting on a little bit more money than I am right now.
Well, I'm sitting on more money with less skill. I'm just itching. I get anxiety because it's like it's just this one little thing, and I just can't find anyone to help me do it. And I just want to make sure someone's over my shoulder to breathe down my neck while I make sure I don't break something. That sort of thing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think you're gonna have any problems.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'll take out what I put in there. I'll put in the original distributor. Exactly like I was smart enough not to unplug any of my 8 wires. So it's going to sit basically where it was originally.
And if you got it running to the point to where it's running as it is, if you think you can make it there as is without fooling with anything, where you can actually get it there really full with it, I don't.
No, but I can't. Remember, I got my distributor is bad, and I don't know what part of the distributor is bad. I don't know if it's the what's it called, the condenser or the I don't know, the little battery part, the little. I'm thinking way too hard, but anyway, a part of that unit has failed. So, anyway, that's why I wanted to put that newer hardware in there. And it's like, if we could just get that's some of the vintage hardware out of there, and let's just go from there.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a hell of an upgrade.
Yeah. So anyway, I got my friend who was over here earlier with his computer. So hopefully, if his dad said he knows what's going on. So if I can get him to come visit me for an hour, and we'll turn over the engine, figure out where my top dead center is, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and then like I said, once you get at the top dead center, then the next step is to find out if you're on a compression stroke or if you're on the intake stroke or the exhaust stroke.
Right.
Like I said, that's pretty done easy. But that's the top first 2 things you do, and then you stab the distributor in the correct way. Almost always 9 times out of 10, she's going to start. She might idle rough until she warms up, and
Right.
then you just pretty much hook up your timing light and set your race timing, and that's it. You're good to go.
Cool. Yeah, I just noticed this new piece of distributor doesn't have all the numbered plugs. That's weird.
Well, I'm still in the same positions.
Okay.
But yeah, your new distributor, you're gonna.
All right, I'm gonna go look at it tomorrow, and then I'll call you when I'm staring at it, and maybe we can FaceTime, and you can tell me what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I get off work. I get off at 4, but God knows when I get home.
All right.
Been riding with my mom home when she gets off work. We get off work around the same time, but every now and again she gets stuck over for fucking hours on end.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it's a pretty straightforward job. It's just
Right.
being an RV. It makes it a little bit more difficult because especially doing the whole timing light thing, just because you almost damn near got to sit under it while you're looking at everything, but you just need to be in the front
Right.
side. Now the car, it's not that bad. You just jump in and out the door. But our Apollo, we got one way in and one way out.
Right.
So it's easier just to yell at a guy underneath you in the compartment.
Well, hopefully my friend is actually willing. I mean, they said that they were willing to, but obviously when someone's doing a favor for someone they don't know very closely.
Honestly, the hardest part is timing it right.
Right.
Because you're going to have to make adjustments on a distributor, either advanced or retarded, because you're not going to get perfect. I promise you that.
Right.
First half.
Right.
You're going to have to adjust it. So you're going to be outside with the timing light, trying to line it up on the damper, but then you're going to have to run inside and outside to adjust the distributor and then crawl back underneath of it. Damn it, I'm a couple. Let's get back, go back in there, twist it another bit to the left a little bit, get back, check it again. You know, it might take you a few times.
Right.
That's going to be the most irritating part of the job, in my opinion.
Got it. Yeah.
It's just crawling underneath of it, getting back up, going
Right.
back inside.
Right. Well, at least I know better than to expect ease. Not that it's a particularly difficult thing.
No, like I said, I mean, if he's going to be there with you, one of you can just be in there turning the distributor, while the other
Right.
got the timing light. I mean, you can have it done in 30 seconds that way, but it'd take you fucking 10 minutes to do it. What I just thought. But yeah, I say your best bet is give me a holler tomorrow, probably around after 5.
Yeah, I'll call you tomorrow. I'll find out if my friend has or is willing to give up their resources for an hour or two, and then we'll go from there. Because apparently, like, I went to school with this guy, so the two of us are young and healthy, so we'll be the ones yanking on it to get it to top dead center if needed, and then his dad will tell us how to deal with it.
Well, it's good that at least he's out there.
Right.
So I'm trying to get out of luck on flying myself for a little while.
Well, if I could just get this thing in place so that I could set up home, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Hopefully, you won't even need me tomorrow. Hopefully, he can.
Yeah, no, if he's able to get that thing going, I'll feel so much better. I mean, if this thing breaks down, if it breaks down, I'm going to be really frustrated, but if I make it, then I'll be very happy, because even
if you're really that concerned about it, you might just be better off having a toad out there. But
well, I don't have 1,000. I've got debt. I don't want to rack up more debt than necessary. So
heard that.
yeah, I mean, you and I both know I've already got to owe my mechanic. So
yeah, there's a certain point where you got to drop the line.
Yeah.
Draw the line, no matter how much you love something.
right. Well, I mean, I'll be living in this thing half the week. This will be my house half the week, and I did live in it for 3 years daily for more than 3 years. So, but now it's in storage.
Got a lot more of what's the sentimental value in yours than I do mine.
Well, not as an individual. Any Apollo is an equal sentiment to me anyway, because my dad was at the company for the whole company. It's not like this is the one that my family grew up with. It's not that. So.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I found another one in better condition, I'll jump on it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, yeah, that would be a bad idea, but maybe you can completely gut that one and turn that one into something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So now, lessons learned the hard way. What I'll do is I'll gut all the moving parts and I'll just put in a solid replacement engine and transmission.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just get a hold of me tomorrow and update
All right.
me and let me know what's going on, bud.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow, dude.
All right. Thanks.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Yep.
Bye.
See you later, man.
All right. Well, we didn't get to talk to computers today, but you listened to Patrick and I talk motorhomes and a little bit of computers. But anyway, normally this is more computer-oriented content. Show up here live. Give me a call, 855-434-8787. We'll even let you join in the phone call. 855-434-8787. Mostly we talk tech. Sometimes we talk vintage motorhomes. Patrick and I have the same 30-foot Class A motorhome. So that's what we talk about sometimes. If you've never been here before, that's pretty much what we're mostly up to. If you want to change the subject, show up in the chat and say so. That's it. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.